Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So first off, I need to give a big shout out to Neo from the Discord. Thank you for sending me this team idea to share with everybody. If you guys ever have interesting team builds like this one, definitely send it to me on Discord. I would love to showcase it. I love interesting team builds or synergies between champions that are kind of overlooked. And I mean, both of these champions have been in the game for a while, but I don't think I've ever seen this done before. Basically, we're using Aox the Rememberer and Tayrels for some pretty awesome effects. So let me break it down for you guys, and then we're gonna jump into the arena and actually go over some stuff, talk about the gearing. But really, it's these two champions, and then you can kind of spread out any build. Once you get the idea of this build, there's really a ton of different possibilities, I believe, because there's a lot of champions who can set up very similar things. But I'm just gonna highlight the main points of this kit, okay? So the main thing is Aox's A3 ability. You do want this to be booked. You don't need the cooldown reduction, but if you get it, it's nice, okay? So basically, places a 50% decreased attack debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. So first off, there's no weak hits because it just places, so as long as you have plenty of accuracy, you're good to go. Also has a 75% chance of decreasing each enemy's turn meter by 20%. This is a very big deal when you're trying to speed tune Tayrels into Aox. When it's fully booked, it's a 100% chance, and then places a 30% decreased crit rate debuff on the target for 2 turns if they have 50% or more turn meter after the turn meter decrease. Now, if this gets placed on the enemy's nuker, this is very nice because they go from 100% crit rate down to 70% crit rate, which lands regular hits more often than not, which is very nice, but ideally, you're going to kill them before they even go anyways. Now, this is where it becomes interesting. So everybody knows that Tayrels has a decreased defense, right? That's his number one, I guess, shining point. The decreased defense on his A2 and the decreased attack on his A1. But the other parts of his kit kind of get overlooked a lot of times. So the decreased defense, you want it fully booked because it's going to book up to 100% chance to land. But after that, this part right here that says if the target is under a decreased attack debuff, it'll place sleep debuff for 1 turn. So Aox is placing the decreased attack. Tayrels comes in, does a decreased defense and a sleep as well. And this setup allows for you to take your nukers and run them very, very slow. You also get the decreased defense, you also get the decreased attack, and you're getting the turn meter manipulation from Aox, which allows you to be a little bit easier on the speed requirements for Tayrels. However, the 20% turn meter decrease on all enemies isn't massive, but it allows you to not have to run Tayrels super, super fast. So I'm gonna jump in the arena. Actually, before I jump in the arena, let me go over both of their stats. So basically, the idea of this is you want Aox going before Tayrels. You want Aox to have really good accuracy to actually apply everything, and the speed needs to be speed tuned with your main arena nuker. You can go to Deadwood Jedi's arena calculator to find that out. I'll leave it linked down below. If you guys have any questions, you can definitely leave it down in the comment sections as well, and let me know if you have any questions. I can help you out. But Aox, you want him to be right below your main speed booster. So when it comes to Tayrels, you're going to want him to be close to Aox's speed, but you can have him a little bit slower because Aox does reduce the enemy's turn meter by 20% anyways. And then you're going to want Tayrels to have very good accuracy because you want to make sure to land that decreased speed as well as that decreased defense. Now, one thing to keep in mind is he is magic affinity. So when you're going against force affinity champions, you may not sleep all the enemies. So it is something to be mindful of. If you're very weak against force affinity champions, you may not want to attack them very often, or may just want to bring a DPS champion who can kind of deal with that a little bit better. But as far as their masteries goes, they're not super important. I don't even have Eagle Eye on them. You could probably get away without even having masteries, but it does help to pick up this extra accuracy towards the bottom. So their builds are very, very simple. Just need speed, just need accuracy, and make sure it fits with your team's breakdown. So if I'm using my Arbiter, for example, my Aox I think needs to be like 250, somewhere around there. Actually, probably like 260, 270. But with this level of arena, I should be perfectly fine. I'm going to jump in here, guys. We're going to do a few different matches, try to break this stuff down. I'm going to use some different team setups so you guys can kind of get an idea for kind of what does work, what maybe doesn't work, and kind of get your own feel for everything, okay? So what I'm going to do here, this team is going to be a little bit weird. I would need a Kymar, honestly, to do this because they're probably going to be faster than me flat out. If Cardiel did cleanse, not really going to be a huge deal because I have nobody to strip them. You can also do this team with Madame Ceres. The only issue is that you need Madame Ceres to go very close to speed with Tayrels. She does strip the enemy, and she does do decreased attack and decreased defense, but she doesn't give no turn meter manipulation, so Tayrels' turn meter isn't going to be in the right spot. I did test her out on stream, and it was a little bit clunky to actually use it. So this is going to be a good example right here, okay? Now, I'm going to be using some legend. I'm going to use Arbiter, but you could use Gorgorab. You could use literally anybody, okay? If you don't want to, if you want to bring Magnar, for example, an HP-based champion or a defense-based champion, you don't even need an increased attack on this team whatsoever. So you could bring Lysandra, you could bring Cythalia, you could bring any champion you wanted for this speed booster place. But it's still a go first team. You still need to go before the enemy. But what this does is it allows you to have that extra gap for your nuker. So my Magnar is running at like 170 speed. And if I didn't have the sleep from Tayrel, he would have to be running 220 speed just to be speed tuned. If not, they're going to cut in. Their Sylva Drakes is going to mess me up. So watch this. Decrease attack on everybody, decrease crit rate as well on everybody. He does sleep. Boom. Everybody slept. So if your nuker is running slow, you can also put the mastery on your nuker that does more damage against targets who are slept. If you have Kymar, obviously you're probably already doing that. But if you don't have Kymar, now's the perfect time to be able to move your gear around to be able to do exactly that. It just opens up your gearing quite a bit. Now, one thing to keep in mind, you still need to have your nuker doing good damage, because if not, you're going to have a similar situation to what I am in right now, where now the enemy's still alive, my nuker's stunned, and we just got to wait till we get back around to it. So I'm going to go ahead and back out of this just because there's no reason to continue the fight for a whole 2-3 minutes. Just waiting for him to wake up. Let's go down here and try this again. And we're going to use somebody who's a very extreme version of being slow. Check this out. +4 Ray, I know, but 144 speed. If she gets a turn, they're going to die though, okay? They're definitely going to die if she gets a turn. So let's see if she does, which I don't see why not, right? Another benefit is that there's no damage being dealt to them. So if they, as far as like when Tayrel hits them, he's not going to do very much damage. You got to be very careful about that, because there's a mastery where if they take over a certain amount of their HP and damage, then they're just going to remove that sleep anyways. Or if the next person hits with an AoE ability, it's going to cancel the sleep anyway. So keep those all in mind. Let's go ahead and use this A3 ability, or we just use the A2 ability. It doesn't really matter. They're all going to die, except for Arbiter. Arbiter decides to stay alive, and she's probably going to res everybody, but if she does, that's okay, because Ray is going to come back and hopefully kill him. Let's see. We're going to use, it doesn't really matter with Aox what we use. Let's go ahead and try to down Sylva Drakes. Just kidding. Went ahead and clicked on Iron Brago. We'll reduce her turn meter. Tayrel also brings a nice turn meter reduction, which is incredible. He has a very solid kit, but a lot of times it gets overlooked because of his decreased attack on his A1 and his decreased defense on his A2 ability. Once Ray gets back around, boom, deleted him, okay? So this team is definitely, I think, a very interesting use of Aox plus Tayrel. You may very well have some better options inside your account than this setup. This setup is definitely not no Gold 5 team setup, but for lower level arenas, this could work very, very well, especially if you don't have anybody like Shiramani. If for some reason your pulls weren't very lucky, you don't want to bring Gnarlhorn in, because Gnarlhorn is a little bit squishy. He does have a provoke. He does work very similarly, but he is pretty squishy. So you do have to keep that in mind. If he's provoking, they're still hitting you, whereas with sleep, they're not hitting you whatsoever. Allows you to run your nukers very slow. You can get them in attack percentage boots, which taking that switch from speed boots to attack percentage boots is pretty massive. We're pretty high up in Gold 5 right now. So our teams that we're going to be seeing are going to be a little bit difficult most of the time. Leor's obviously not a good idea because you're not going to sleep a Leo. Let's see what kind of teams we can go against. We'll try this. I mean, it's going to be a Rotos. He's going to wake up, but hopefully we stay speed tuned better than them, and hopefully I'm faster. Very high up in the arena right now, so they very well may be faster than me. My Arbiter's like 359, I think, but they're not speed tuned. So look here. Boom. Everybody gets slept, hopefully. Didn't sleep the Siphi, unfortunately. That's very unfortunate, actually. But the Arbiter and the Kyoku did get slept, which helped the Rotos not get extra turn meter boost from the Arbiter. I'm going to take my Ray and delete everybody. Boom, deleted. Control Alt delete. Alt F4 on their team. And now we just go ahead and work down the Rotos. So this team, guys, I think there's a lot of different options you can use. You can use Ursula the Mourner. She has a decreased attack and an increased attack on one ability. You could throw her in for a Ghost Second Team. If you want to throw some of these champions in Stone Skin gear, that could work very well also. I think this synergy, or mostly just going off of Tayrel's ability to decrease defense and sleep, if the condition of the enemy has a decreased attack already on them is met, opens up quite a bit of different strategies to actually bring Tayrel into your teams. I mean, he is an awesome champion. He has a good aura if you even need that in the arena, but definitely consider it. Look into some different ideas. If you're struggling with some Ghost Second Teams, maybe for your 3v3, this could definitely be a possible option. If you had a Kymar for a strip, if you had a Sathalia for a strip, you could all have them. You could have all of them going pretty close together. Rhea and the Conjurer. You could have Rhea and the Conjurer strip. You could have Aox place decreased attack. You could have Tayrel decreased defense and sleep, and then you could have Magnar or something nuke. You could have whatever HP based champion nuking, because you're not losing on not having an increased attack, right? Like if you bring in a Ray, if you bring in a Trunda, if you bring in anybody like that, you're going to prefer to have that increased attack so you can get that extra layer of damage going off. But if you bring in an HP-based champion, you're going to be perfectly fine with having no buffs coming from them. Plus, Rian brings in a res as well. Ursula also has a res. So there's a lot of different options you can use for Go Second teams like this. But if you're doing Go Second, you're really going to need to bring in a strip. Unfortunately, we didn't place the decreased attack on Seeker. Not a huge deal because Ray, like I said, she's just going to delete everybody. Except for the Mountain King, which could be pretty ugly, but I guess we'll see. Also, the decreased crit rate's really cool too. Whenever they attack and they are not landing their crits, which you assume they're 100% crit rate, is very, very awesome. Plus, Aox is extending the debuffs whenever he gets hit or has a chance to extend those. So there's a lot of neat little things with this team. Earlier, I was doing quite a few matches on stream, but unfortunately, we're pretty high up in the arena now, so the teams we can go against and actually make sense are getting a little fewer and far between. So guys, that's just a little bit of a showcase of Tayrel and kind of how he can synergize with some different things with decreased attack. Maybe it opens up some new ideas for you guys to build. Let me know if anybody comes up with something awesome. I'm definitely interested in seeing it. I really think there's some solid potential for some Go Second teams here. I'll probably play around with it a little bit more and see if I can figure anything out. But either way, guys, thank you all for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one.